Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena, and today we are going to be continuing our series on updating the precons. This one's probably the hardest one, was the hardest one for me to update. And this would be, well, let's start with the original. It's the Savage Lands deck, aka it's green-red landfall. Pretty much what made, nope, we're not, that's a good thing they have the warning. I'm not submitting that deck, I'm not going in with that one. Now, first of all, pretty much the big issue is the quality of the creatures that actually have landfall. And somehow the game kind of acknowledges it. If you see the actual cards that have landfall, there's the 3 Akum Hellhounds, 3 Brushfire Elementals, the 1 Kazandu Mammoth, the 1 Phylat. That's it. Everything else is pretty much regular aggro. We have 3 copies of Scale the Heights, 2 copies of Vastwood Surge as a way to get some extra lands in. But otherwise, it's pretty much just straight aggro. And yeah, for calling it Savage Lands, it really isn't that savage. I guess the only other bonus is like Royal Eruption with Kicker, but but realistically, if you're playing this kind of aggro to mid-range deck, you're not really hitting 7 mana. If you are in real trouble. But that said, that's let us mention the good highlights of the deck. So Brushfire was a good highlight. Kazandu Mammoth is a good one. The Werewolf pack leader is pretty much standard right now if you're going green-red aggro. I willingly kept Toski. That's it. Oh my goodness, that was pretty much it, because there were several points where I was trying to keep more cards. I was trying to keep more of the landfall team. I doubled up on the landfall team. It really never panned out. So that said, this is what I did. Since the original deck was barely landfall anyway to begin with, and realistically, if you want landfall, you go green-white. I just embraced the aggro. So pretty much the 4 copies of Brushfire Elemental, 3 copies of Kazandu Mammoth. You can easily go to 4, I guess like say cut the Toski, but or something. But otherwise, it's pretty much a werewolf deck through and through. So we have Outland Liberator, Werewolf, Kessig Naturalist, Werewolf, Werewolf Pack Leader, Werewolf, Hound Tamer, Werewolf, Reckless Stormseeker, Werewolf, Tovalar, Werewolf, Arlen, Werewolf. So the notable changes is we added Ashaya, one because sometimes we do have the landfall team, and having our creatures double up as landfall helps. It also kind of combos really nicely with Hound Tamer. It's also a very decent protection against certain decks because turning all your creatures into lands pretty much blanks a lot of the non-land permanent removal. Our big issue was dealing with other creatures, specifically with a certain toughness rating. So that's why we ended up with 3 copies of Thundering Rebuke, 4 copies of Demon Bolt. Just be sure. If we could go, if there was removal that hit at 5, I think there is some. I'm trying to remember if Soul Seer is in this current one or in the previous one. That's actually a good question. Let's take a look at that. I probably would have considered it, but that would have been also quite pricey at that. Seize the Spoils, Shackles, Treachery. No, I don't think there's any removal that hits for 5. Even Tundra Fumarole, which is a rare, only hits for 4 also. Shackles would be another consideration. Heated Debate is also kind of a good consideration as well if you're. But sometimes you have the opportunity to do something but not cast a spell because you want to switch from day to night. So that is a thing. Yeah, I think the only Draconic Intervention. No, we don't have any very expensive ones. So this is pretty much the shell of the deck. I'm still not that confident if we're going to do very well with this one. It's been a nightmare playing this for the most part. Pretty much the meta decks we run into will either be even more aggro and more consistent because they're monocolored, or they just go into control. Not even mid-range, it's just pure control. Which so that becomes the scary part here. But this is pretty much the last time I'm going to explore this deck, out of pure frustration at this point. Can't say I'm very happy with this one. Like, I'm actually trying to remember the last time I did the series on updating the precons. Okay, so a bit scary. We are keeping a 2-lander, but we could Kessig Natural. If nothing bad happens, we could Kessig Naturalist into Tovolar, and if something bad happens, we can just Outland Liberator for the time being. We are technically running 28 lands if you count the... Okay, so not too bad. Our opponent is playing blue-red, so if hopefully it's actually giants. If it's just aggro, we're gonna lose the Kessig Naturalist. Yep. No, actually it's a burn spell right now. It doesn't really say much. No. Can buy a little bit of time and get a little damage. Also forces our opponent to have a tree drop. Smoldering Egg. Okay, the good news is that's not blocking anything. And oh, might as well start drawing cards. Tossed. Yeah, hitting land drops is actually not a bad plan here. Opponent does need to cast spells because if I do flip, it does become a consideration. So I need to decide also how to do it. I can't double cast it. I might just cast Arlinn, although it probably gets countered. Yeah, let's force the counter. Because if it's a counter, it could still be a divide by 0. Could be a Fading Hope is possible as well. It does have trample, so ooh, if our opponent's willing to give that up, that pretty much means they have a burn down the house. So, but the good news is we drew 3 cards, so I'll take that. So let's say our opponent goes burn down the house, they wipe everything except Hosky, which is going to be awkward for our opponent. We can run into... Yeah, there we go. Now because it's nighttime, Reckless Storms, Tovolar... I will need to... Yeah, we'll just do Tovolar. Play a regular land. Set to red. Play Reckless Stormseeker. Yeah, that's... And there we go! We actually managed to steal that first win because our opponent was playing... It's definitely blue-red spells. This one, probably a budget version because of that Surtland Frostpire. Also, our opponent didn't exactly play much in the way of spells, so we had... So that's pretty much the deck that we are trying to prey on. Decks that take too long. Hopefully we can run into more of those. That would actually make me happy. It will make the 48 hours I suffered trying to tweak this deck worth it. I'm already wondering what the thumbnail of this deck is gonna be. Probably a werewolf porridge with the landfall being chili jam. So turn 2 we will drop the Kessig Naturalist. We can do turn 3 Valkyrie Goblin. I could drop Outland Liberator first on the assumption our opponent has a kill spell. Yeah, probably do that. We have multiples of them anyway. Also being able to start the flip going. I'm assuming our opponent just yeah, they have a kill spell. Probably Frostbite. Always offer the trade. Our opponent could have like an Infuriate type effect. If it buffs toughness, sure. No, opponent just lets it go. Now, we do need our... Oh, opponent did not even hit their third mana. So... we're gonna just foretell the Demon Bolt for now. I probably should have just played the Evolving Wilds just to get the... Okay, now 2 1/1s. Could still be problematic. Fireblade Charger. Okay, our opponent is gonna go wide. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord's a thing. It's a good thing. So now it's actually a good thing we did. We'll just play the Kazandu Mammoth. Give ourselves a big beater. Let's just nuke this now. Opponent's down to their last card. I'm concerned what if our opponent does have an Infuriate effect. Okay, no, they don't. So it shrinks all of these. Our opponent can choose... Okay, they're not choosing to do anything. So... I don't think our opponent's going to be playing enchantments anytime soon, so we will probably just drop Mammoth and Liberator. This should set us up for the Evolving Wilds in the future. Yeah, we... Ooh, opponent starting to flood. Now, our opponent can do the pump... Okay. Makes it a coward, so this is not blocked. Well, I would have preferred not to block with it anyway. So, opponent is just going ham. They might not have much of anything else. Okay. Now, it doesn't protect it, so I might actually just block it. Sure, I take 2 more damage. Whoop-de-doo. So... Yep, opponent concedes right there. It looks like they ran out of gas. Whew! So we're actually taking advantage of this stuff really early. Maybe if we have a good run where all our opponents are this level of aggro, we could probably make a decent dent on this on this run. That said, over time, I would probably... It's actually a good question mark. The only landfall cards I kept are the ones that were generally worth it. I did not even keep the Phylat. I considered one adding more landfall, adding Scoot Swarm, but that one wasn't quite worth it either. Clarion Spirit. Now, since that's our opponent's play, I don't need to play Brushfire Elemental immediately. I'm gonna actually just run an Outland Liberator first. Yeah, now this one has the potential to go really wide and be really annoying. All that. Usher of the Fallen, so lots of small drops. And well, that said, they are throwing their Clarion Spirit away, so I'm willing to trade that. I am about to take a bit of damage here, but next turn we should be able to... Yeah, this is the problem. If our opponent hits Adeline, that's... Well, the good news is we have Demon Bolt, so... Let's hope our opponent does not have a second one, otherwise it's really over for us. Yeah, that's pretty much why it's important to have all these high-cost ones. There's also probably an argument for having cheap removal as well. Like, if I had a smaller spell... Okay, opponent goes Paladin class. Do they have the... They don't have the land, but they do have the portable hole. So, our opponent's about to really swarm us. That's a lot of damage. Like, Arlen can buy us some time. Alternately, we can do... Because ideally you want to do Arlen, you make the tokens. Our opponent's incentivized to swing up top, but Yeah, the problem is we do need something that's a 3/3. Yeah, actually I think it's good game anyway. Yeah, because our opponent just pumps. We have no blockers for this. So there is an argument for going even faster. Like, instead of Thundering Rebukes, maybe play with fire. We would have been able to snipe the Clarion Spirits at a more timely pace. So that is worth consideration. I think, yeah, maybe 4 copies of the Demon Bolt is might be good enough. We do have Shatter Skull Smashing, but that's also very expensive if you're trying to wipe a bunch of 1s and 2s. It does mean that if you're going to build a sideboard for this, and I've been slacking on it, admittedly. Also because Crimson Vow is coming soon. This is a bit sketchy. I will drop Kessig Naturalist on 2, though. Opponents at mono. Let's play the green first. If our opponent drops something relatively big, it does give me an argument for Thundering Rebuke. Let's say our opponent does a Sword of the Realms. Okay, not quite. Okay, now we have an interesting play because we drew another land. So based on this, if our opponent goes for some tree drop, Portable Hole's fine. Let's see what their follow-up is. Basically, the important thing is, yeah, being able to nuke this ASAP. So with that in mind, so next turn we can go Brush Fire into a 5/5. Maybe not. Actually, it depends. We probably lose the Demon Bolt. It does make it interesting in the sense that we are getting close to Ashaya, and it does blank a lot of these removal. The problem is our opponent's about to equip a Sword of the Realms on top. I could also just Kessig Natural. Okay, opponent takes the Demon Bolt, which makes sense. We did hit an Outland Liberator, so we'll actually save that tech. Because what we can do is we can drop Outland Liberator, nuke the Sword of the Realms if it comes to that. Portable Hole again. I'm actually fine with our opponent. Yeah, because that's the bait. But we are about to take a big swing at 5. There's a Toski, which, well, we can play that later. As much as I like to play the Kessig Naturalist, I can't. Opponent goes Legion Angel. Can't really do anything about that. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess I could have gone to, no, Toski wouldn't have done much. Not so sure what I would do here. I could just pass, wait for a opponent to hit, I guess. Okay. Fresh Oh. So at least we land a 6/6. Our opponent is gonna just start chaining. Okay, Valkmira. This is also why I wanted Outland Liberator for the most part. Okay, now this is yeah, it's a bit annoying. I goofed up on that one. I assumed I would have been able to Demon Bolt, but that's not gonna happen while Valkmira is in play. Yeah, that's pretty much game. This one is the slower version, but it was the surer version. So let's just draw our cards. See if we draw anything. Kind of hope. Nope, that's good game. Yeah, our lack of anti-flyer tech, we were kind of relying on... Actually, that's one thing I noticed. There are way too many relevant flyers now, at least in mono white. So that is one thing to consider. It does explain why Burn Down the House is very popular. That's actually a good point. At least for sideboard, I would probably sneak in a Burn Down the House there. And if there's another good point is that these games go really fast. So we got 2 early good wins, but we got them 2 very quick losses as well. Both of them against mono white of all things. Well, we did have a win against... Was that mono? No, it wasn't mono white. Anyway, so we get to go first. A lot of these MDFCs are to give us like extra land drops. It's kind of like an extra concession. Mono white again. Wow. We'll play the naturalist first. Actually, I should pay attention. Is this the same opponent? If our opponent swings and just boasts, that gives us an easy 3-3, so we'll just take. They're not gonna boast though, so it looks like they have another drop or something. Well, I can't have it all. Clarion Spirit, that's perfect. Now we can kind of stymie the Usher for a little bit. Let's see what our opponent's 3-drop is. It's usually a rare. Elite Spellbinder. It's always a rare. That said, if I swing, we are able to get the mana to cast Demon Bolt. So, not really a big miss. I'm actually going... They might have a Sajiri Shelter, which is an issue. It just means that we have to go out of our way to buy it back again with Balaged Recovery if it gets to that. Now, our opponent can cast 2 spells. They should have a way to do it. So I don't expect this flip to stay permanent. Yeah, but we kind of need more gas. We are somewhat flooding out, all things considered. So they did have the 2-for-1 shot. Okay, so we will have to Balaged Recovery and buy back the Demon Bolt. Nice. We can also Shatter Skull Smashing now, I guess. Yeah, we'll probably do that. And now this is us trying to win the game with... This is us trying to win the game with a 1-1. Our opponent can even swing back with the Faceless Haven now, so we definitely need to buy back the Balaged Recovery soon. Opponent goes Intrepid Adversary with +1/+1. Opponent knows we bought back the Demon Bolt. He's going for it anyway. No, they didn't have anything else. Okay. So ideally, I don't want to cast a Naturalist quite yet. We'll just drop the Tangled Florahedron. This basically means that we have something to block Faceless Haven with if it gets to that. Our opponent can also just drop a creature, equip. No, double drop. Okay. So that flips it back anyway, so I didn't have to worry about me doing it myself. We hit a Brushfire Elemental, which does slip through the cracks. I'm actually tempted to swing with both. No, opponent just lets it go. Okay, and just drop the Kessig Naturalist. So now the play is to... Ooh. Question. If our opponent swings with Faceless Haven, do I double block with everything? I probably don't. I think our opponent is most likely to just play Maul the Skyclaves and try to lean back on the first strike. Yeah, they're gonna just start buffing this guy instead. So the trick now is we need to hit removal or a land. Hitting another werewolf, depending on what it is, it might be okay. We hit the Thundering Rebuke. Yeah, so having enough removal is so important. So we are definitely swinging. The mana does nothing, so we are gonna just swing with these two. Opponent is gonna start. I'm thinking of like equipping here or swinging with. If they swing with Faceless Haven, okay, Luminarch Aspirant again. Nice thing is that our werewolves are pretty much in for a lock. The question now is, yeah, 4/4 probably makes. So they're going for the token route. An Evolving Wilds would matter here. Any land, well, land not so much. Okay, land is. I'll accept land, I guess. Now, yeah, this is basically suicide here. It at least forces our opponent to... Yeah. But the problem is, our opponent has enough that we're never going to get through anyway. So, that was pretty much a desperation play. Yeah, the flyers are going to be the #1 issue. And, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we ran into 3 mono white decks in a row. What gives? But it probably also shows that the mono white is very popular right now. We did play 5 games. It is awfully quick. Do I want to do another series? Do I want to do another one and just torture myself a little bit more? Thinking about it, but it might not go just as well. Just to pad the time a little bit, we'll do a little bit of play. I'm definitely not taking this to ranked right now. I am currently in diamond, and I do run into a lot of mono green and mono white, so it actually might fare better against mono green. Mono white just having the ability to make flyers off the fly in a sense. Maul the Skyclave's still very good. So definite sketchy keeper, but we probably will end up using this as remove. Actually, I wouldn't even use this removal. Wow, so many Florahedrons. I guess we can super ramp up if we hit another red source. Oh, there's a Demon Bolt. Can just foretell because you don't want to be forced. That was fast. Okay, I did not expect that, but sometimes you sometimes get that. That's really weird. I have no idea what happened. Our opponent might have kept the 2-lander, needed something to fill out the rest, but did not get it. I'll probably crack the vault later. Actually didn't realize I got... Oh wait, I was getting all them uncommons. Yeah, that would have filled up the vault really quickly. So this one's much better for us. Brush fire, land, and if we can draw into another land, we can really get going. Opponent does get the... Oh wait, no, we go first. So we'll see if our opponent... Ooh. If anything, this is gonna show how good or how bad the Brushfire Elemental is. Opponent's gonna snipe it. They have Frostbite. They might actually choose not to snipe it. Okay, they're just gonna snipe it now. I guess it makes sense. Let's see what their follow-up is. Thermo Alchemist. Well, it's not blocking. It's not blocking this guy anytime soon. And this is where having these guys as land drops is really worth it. So next turn I can do Brush Fire. I won't be able to do Thundering Rebuke though because I'm missing another red source. Opponent might be on just straight burn. So we're probably the worst. It's probably one of our worst matchups because a lot of our creatures are really soft. Yeah, opponent just Frostbites again. Yeah, sure. Spent a lot of resources on that. I guess what we do is just play the Kazandu Mammoth and bait removal. We don't need to... Opponent's actually... Let's see what our opponent does have as a follow-up. They used up 2 Frostbites already, so... Do they have a third Frostbite? They probably just have a larger removal spell, like say Moonrager Slash, Cathartic Fire. Okay. We are taking a bit of damage from this. Wow, and we're not getting help from the lands either. So... Might as well Thundering Rebuke now since it's not gonna get better quite recently. At least force our opponent to have something other than just straight burn. Our opponent could just be playing a straight burn deck, so we do need to hit a creature that's relatively large. Seize the spoils, discarding Roller Up. Oh yeah, they're just straight burn. Now the question is... Oh, the nice thing is... Yeah, I have to swing first. Oh, they don't have a response. Okay, we'll crack this now. Because there's the argument of using it as a way to keep it alive, but... Having seized the spoils, kind of awkward. Well, us not having anything outside of these lands, also kind of awkward. Cathartic Fire is a good argument for it, though. Well, first let's drop the land. Let's nuke the egg. And we will foretell the Demon Bolt. Yeah, so mono red spells. Seize the Storm. How many spells do they have in the yard? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's a bit expensive. 6/6. We will need to drop a land and we will need to nuke it. We might be better off waiting for another follow-up drop. Okay, 7/7. Never mind. Opponent did hit their triple Frostbite. Now this guy has trample, so it's... I'm pretty much just playing this, see if I can bait out even more of these. Yes, if opponent's more likely to just end up seize the Storm. Very nasty stuff. It's highly unlikely we're gonna make it. Yeah, because these tokens have trample. Like, I could block and nuke, but I would have to really block. And if our opponent happens to have another removal spell, yeah, having your toughness be just be 3, it makes you soft to a lot of things. Burn down the house. Yeah, we were not gonna win this one. Yeah, so our opponent taking up the Seize the Storm was a good one. Actually, that's another thing I noticed. You kind of want to have a way to exile. If you're gonna build a sideboard for any of these, actually for any deck in the future, with the way Midnight Hunt's going and with the way Crimson Vow is probably gonna go, there's going to be a lot of. Let's just crack that open now. There are going to be a lot of graveyard synergies here and there, so you kind of want to look for ways to exile the yard. So. So let's see, exile graveyard. So all the disturbed creatures will count. Soul Guide Grift does that, but wow, that's way too expensive. Dawnbringer Cleric is cheaper, though you ideally don't want to run that. Let's see what else we have. Reject, Test, and Dissipate does it by itself. Devious Cover Up, Exiles Uncast. I've really found this very annoying, but well, at least Azorius Control has representation now. Okay, not much here. Black has, well, Rotten Reunion. Callous Blood Mage is probably gonna be a very good tech option if you have black as an option. Graveyard Trespasser is also kind of decent if you want to go black mid-range / mid-range into control. Shadow's Verdict, very good, still very good. Red usually doesn't have much of exiling the yard. Green kind of does. Froghemoth's the big one. Return to Nature, not so much. That actually, yeah, turns out there isn't much that exiles the graveyard. Yeah, it's mostly about exiling your own stuff, but you don't get to exile other cards in the graveyard. Immerstrom Predator is probably the best option. Wow. It looks like graveyard synergies are gonna be the way to go. That's gonna at least for the near future until we see what Kamigawa and company has. But you know what? We're gonna call this episode. We did get our 2 quick wins. We just kind of got slammed by mono white so many times. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. Hey, you know what? Let's just do one more. Why not? It's less than 40 minutes, and we know that we can get quick games out of this. But yeah, the graveyard is going to be a very big thing. So we have a turn 2 Werewolf Pack Leader, turn 3 Kazandu Mammoth if we need to. Thundering Rebuke is still an option if we absolutely must. But yeah, the considerations for sideboard are cards that can wipe white, so Cinderclasm, Crush, cards that can help and probably just some more resilient creatures. Also, your first investment should really be lands if you can. Now it's super sketch. This could also just be Siphon Insight, but okay, it's not Siphon Insight. Opponent is an Esper. We do need to double. We'll play one Kazandu Mammoth. Oh, opponent probably just has straight. Oh, this is probably the. If it's it's probably not the counters version, but it's the heavy removal version of Esper. Baleful Mastery. I'll take the card draw. Nice. Cloistered Guard. Oh. Interesting. So, Reckless Stormseeker doesn't quite. We might have to just Thundering Rebuke just to punch through. Well, there's also Outland Liberator. Tell you what, we'll play this as a land because we need to hit our drops. I kind of want to just play another Kazandu Mammoth right now. But since we are approaching 5, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna just play the Outland Liberator. Leave us up multiple options between just Demon Bolting the Gargoyle and nuking with Outland Liberator. Opponent probably casts one spell. I don't know if they cast Kaya the Inexorable. Now this also deals to... Okay, so here's the interesting part. We can... Hold on. Yeah, it sets it up as a 6. So we definitely want to nuke it immediately. Definitely want to get rid of that, so... Reckless Stormseeker. Oh yeah, I didn't have the mana for it, so... Maybe this convinces our opponent to... It might convince our opponent to just drop a creature and put a ghost form counter on it. It just makes it... Nope, goes for the removal. Sort of removal. Makes a token. I could pump it, I guess. Nope, nothing much. This also hits Planeswalkers, I need to remember that. Test of Talents. Ooh, should have gone with the other one. So there goes most of my removal. So we can at least land the Werewolf Pack Leader, but I would not be surprised... Yeah, I just dropped the land now. I would not be surprised if our opponent has a Rat effect. Yeah, let that go. Opponent might just... But nuking... Yeah, that was... Test of Talents, well, kind of important, all things considered. Okay, opponent has the Bloodchief's Thirst. Foretells a card. Could be Poison the Cup. We don't have a reason to... Okay. Yeah, I figured something like this was about to happen. Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't see... If I don't see a reason to crack it, I'm not going to crack it quite right away. Opponent does have Doomscar. Yeah, figured they would have a Doomscar eventually. We'll wait on that. Because my next play is only going to be Kessig Naturalist. Yeah, see? You never know when you draw another Brushfire Elemental. Might as well crack this now. Because I don't... What are the odds of me drawing yet another one? Opponent is holding up as if they have something, so I'm gonna pass. Like, I want to start swarming the board, but I also want this to flip tonight. Our opponent is incentivized to... Well, he's not blocking this ever. There's the Precipitous Drop. That's fine. Yeah, this is the part where it gets awkward. Our opponent's now about to draw an extra card just from the attack. Now I did get into a discussion before what makes a good splash. Now this one's what I consider a good splash. Blue just specifically for the Test of Talents. That was what I consider a very good splash. Now, I don't know if our opponent's card is going to... Yep, Fate's Reversal, Return. Yeah, very... And now we would need to hit one of our 2 remaining Thundering Rebukes. Because of that Annoying test of talents. Well, now the bad news is the Triumphant Adventure is going to keep coming in. And if our opponent just has regular Doomscar, we... Oh yeah, and also Field of Ruin ruins it. That's probably the one side effect of running Ashaya, but more often than not, it's better. We still have our Shatter Skull Smashing, but yeah, our opponents kind of got into control. We've more or less run out of removal because of that one test of talents. Something to always consider in the future. Yeah, I should have just led with Thundering Rebuke. We would have had more copies, I guess. We did have another Brushfire Elemental, but that's not going to do us any good. So better not, better not attack either. Yeah, just flip this up. What does our opponent get back? Nothing. They already got back the Cloister Gargoyle. They're about to exile and play. Thank goodness. They can play the land, but it whiffs the other test of talents. Hit the Tangled Florahedron. Still not looking very good for us. Our opponent's about to scry tree. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Opponent is flooded, but we are in the losing end of the flood. Yeah, all things considered, the other issue with this one is that you either win quickly or you lose very quickly. So yeah, if there's one change I would make, I would probably try to make some room for... I try to make some room for more room. And okay, and because Lord of the Elvenwald is only 2, yeah, that's resolving a like if we were to get out of this, I would have to this isn't gonna do it. We can concede this one right now. Triumphant Adventure, we were very reluctant to block this. Well, it's not like we could block it anyway. We would have needed to have 2 creatures, and I don't think we were anywhere near that position. So yeah, some of the weaknesses considered, we definitely want some cheaper removal as well. The Balaged Recovery, maybe I might swap the Tangled Florahedrons for Spikefield Hazards, though I don't know how many X1 targets are literally there, but that's another consideration. Basically, make as many adjustments as you need. Also, leading heavily on green, probably not a great idea. If I could make adjustments, I would. If we get better werewolves if we get some more red werewolves in Crimson Vow, I might lean this more towards red. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.